It's time for the force of law, not the law of force, was the main message of Polish President Andrzej Duda's speech at the United Nations General Assembly. World conflicts, including the war in Ukraine, once again dominated the talks in New York. But the topic of support for Kiev is also an important element of the presidential election campaign in the United States.
The eyes of the world are on New York this week. This is where leaders from more than 190 countries are discussing key global challenges.
We cannot allow this war to turn into another frozen conflict. This is the most important task for the future. That is why it's so important today to stop the Russian war in Ukraine.
U.S. President Joe Biden warned against cutting aid to Kiev.
We cannot grow weary. We cannot look away. And we will not let up on our support for Ukraine. Not until Ukraine wins a just and durable peace.
Meanwhile, in New York, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky discussed the possibility of making peace. The war in Ukraine is also an election campaign topic overseas. At his rallies, Republican candidate Donald Trump regularly speaks about his plan to end this conflict.
A Putin, on cały czas myślał o Ukrainie, ale gdy miał prezydentem, on by nigdy się nie odważył najechać.
The campaign in America is entering its final, hottest, and most important phase. Nationwide, Kamala Harris has a slight lead within the margin of statistical error. But in the so-called swing states, the situation is already volatile.
Oni mają głos decydujący, bo
In the swing states, sometimes 1.2% decides who takes all the electoral votes in the U.S. system. Therefore, a small group can exaggerate the result, and polls in these states are from a few to even 10%. Candidates of both parties have begun the battle for the hearts and minds of Polish Americans. Vice President Kamala Harris, in a recent TV debate, criticized Trump for his foreign policy. Last Sunday, as Polish President Andrzej Duda unveiled a monument to Solidarity heroes in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, called America's Częstochowa, Donald Trump took to social media to write, "This is a wonderful day for our amazing Polish-American community. My great friend, Polish President Andrzej Duda, is at the National Shrine of Our Lady of Częstochowa in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, to honor and remember the brave heroes who fought for Poland's independence after World War II. It was the incredible example of Polish heroes throughout history that inspired the closing words of my speech to the courageous Polish people on July 6, 2017. So together, let us all fight like the Poles, for family, for freedom, for the country, and for God." But Kamala Harris's staff and supporters say that they are the ones who have won the support of Polish Americans in Pennsylvania, one of the most important states during this election. Kamala Harris has just received the endorsement of the Polish community in Pennsylvania. There are more than 800,000 Polish Pennsylvanians, so this is a huge endorsement. The words came as a huge surprise to influential commentator Jack Posobiec. "I have been a Polish American from Pennsylvania my entire life. My entire family are Polish Americans, and none of us are voting for you."
Zdecydowana część Polonii, łącznie ze mną na czele.
Definitely more Polish Americans, including I, are voting for Trump, but you can't downplay those Polish Americans who are supporting Harris. One thing is certain, every vote cast in this election by Polish Americans is an increase in the strength and importance of the Polish American community.